2 of his fraud trial there in New York City speaking. And right now we want to continue that story and bring in a special guest here on Live Now from Fox. You know him. It's Andrew Lieb here, attorney, speaking all about this trial here. And Andrew, every day it's always something new, but now we're seeing the former president come back for day 2 here. He doesn't even have to be there, but he's using this almost, at every briefing, at every break, I should say, to do a little briefing going.
Mike, I think you're alluding to exactly what's going on. According to Trump, he hasn't said this, but his actions speak louder than words. This isn't a trial. This is a campaign stop. This is all political. There's no reason he'd want to be there today. There's no reason he wanted to be there yesterday. It's brutal going to a trial, and I'll tell you, they already lost the main cause of action. You see, they were originally sued for 7 different reasons, and it all starts with fraud under what's called Executive Law 6312. They won the Attorney General. The Attorney General won in what's called summary judgment. They already have a judgment on fraud, and the rest of this is just saying how many other counts of fraud we get and how big the damage pile is. Is it 250 million? Is it more? Is it less? What's the story, Mike? That's why they're here. Trump's using this for campaign. Very interesting for me, for you, but it's not legally substantively interesting, Mike.
And Andrew, can you break down for our viewers, yesterday the big news of the day that Trump was making at the end of the day, talking about, 80% that he was claiming of this lawsuit should be thrown out there. Tell me the makings of that.
Like, he went further. He didn't say it should be thrown out. He claimed the judge did throw it out. That's wild stuff. First of all, let's start off with today. The judge today went back to that conversation, and the judge basically said, I'm not reversing any of my decisions that I already made in this case. And if you don't like the decisions I already made, this isn't the time for it. It's an appeal that's the time for it. But let's talk about the substance of what was going on. A lot of the claims involve things that happened in the year 2011. And the appellate court has told us that the statute of limitations, that's as far as you can go back, is 2014. Yesterday and today, we had Donald Bender testifying. He's a Trump accountant, a longtime accountant. And he was testifying to things that happened in 2011. And the judge said, I'm going to read you his exact quote, Judge Engeron. He said, I trust that you can relate the 2011 documents to something that happened later, or this has been a waste of time. So the judge didn't say, hey, you're wasting our time. He said, if you can't relate it. And today he expanded on that. And I'm going to read you what he said today. Every use of a false financial statements in business starts the statute of limitations running again. I understand the defendants strongly disagree with this and will appeal on those grounds. Meaning, put it all together. Yes, it's true. If a financial statement's from 2011 to 2014, it's outside the statute of limitations and irrelevant. But if Trump reused that financial statement in any fraud thereafter, his team, his businesses, his sons, his chief financial officer, that renews the statute of limitations. So it's a twist of what happened. Thumbs up to Trump, as he apparently did in the courtroom, but that's not what happened. And anyone saying that on social media or otherwise didn't hear the judge's words. They speak for themselves, Mike.
Yeah, so true, Andrew. I appreciate you breaking that down for us as well there. And, a lot of the makings that we've been hearing from Trump coming from this trial here is the $18 million for Mar-a-Lago that it's assessed at there. And that seems really, really, really low. What is your take on that? And give me a little bit more insight on this whole $18 million battle for Mar-a-Lago.
Let's start off the context of what it's about, Mike. What they were talking about is in the summary judgment motion. And again, summary judgment means the judge decided there were no questions of fact with respect to the first cause of action. And as a matter of law, the judge could find fraud, which is very broadly defined in the executive law, with respect to a lawsuit from the Attorney General. In that decision, the judge references how much Trump is overvaluing assets. To illustrate, he would say something that a normal appraiser might say is worth 9 million or 11 million or 10 million, all within a margin of error. Trump would say it's worth 100 million, nowhere in planet Earth. So a lot of people have picked up to your specific question that in the decision, I think it was 18 to 33 million, I may be off by a million or two there, that an appraisal said that Mar-a-Lago's worth. But it wasn't actually an appraisal, it was a tax assessment. And anyone in law knows that tax assessments aren't appraisals. But the judge said, hey, it's worth this amount. And Trump's orbit is going nuts. They're saying, hey, there's properties next door, half acre worth 200 million. Mar-a-Lago, I think Eric Trump, it might have been Eric Gore Jr., said it must be worth $1 billion. But the problem they have is twofold. Number one, as the judge points out, property is not worth what comps are worth if it has restrictions in zoning. Mar-a-Lago is not a private residence. You can't build condos there. You can't build a bigger house there. It has a zoning restriction on it that allows it only to be operated as a club, and Trump can't even occupy it full time. Because of that, it's not valued as a residence where we would do a comp analysis as opposed to other properties. We do the income approach. How much is it making in money? How much does it cost to operate? What's its net? How do we times that towards a capitalization rate relevant for that area? So the judge is saying, hey, because you have zoning restrictions, if I have a plot of land with a hut on it, it's not worth the same amount as a house if I can't build a house there, number one. Number two, Trump's team agreed to the assessed number. They said this is what it's worth. There was papers, filings where they're stopped from taking a different position later. So it's not nonsense whatsoever. But as the judge so aptly put today, that's why we have appeals. So go appeal it, and we'll see what the appeal happens. But we can't say it's based on comps, Mike. It's based on the income approach.
Yeah, and I'm so glad you mentioned that there. Great analysis, as always, Andrew. And last question to you here as... You know, the writing is on the wall. Trump even knows it. It seems like the whole legal system knows it right now that he will be found guilty on these on this lawsuit here. But at the end of the day, isn't that kind of, in a weird roundabout way, what Trump wants? To be guilty, to talk about, you know, look, they really want me not to do any business or be your president.
Bullseye. Bullseye. There's a lot of talk about whether Trump's attorney committed malpractice or did something wrong by not requesting a jury. There's a box on a form you have to do, and it's a bench trial. But then there's a counter argument that perhaps they never wanted a jury. Perhaps they wanted someone to make against Trump. Trump is so good at making a caricature of someone, to mock them, to ridicule them, to say, I'm the only thing in between the government and you. I'm in the way. I'm your guy. At the end of the day, though, a lot of people will watch you and I talking right now and say, Lieb seems real excited. He seems so sure about Trump. Why is he talking like that? Why is he so sure Trump lost? And I want to reiterate, because he's already lost. There's been a summary judgment decision. There is a judgment that Trump committed fraud. They have already ruled that he's losing his business certificates. They have already ruled that there's an appointment of receiver. The only question is not whether Trump is going to lose this case. Trump has already lost this case. The question before us is, how much does Trump lose? So let's tie it all together, Mike. Why is Trump here on day two? Why is he coming after the prosecutor, making racist remarks against Tish James? Why is he making comments about this judge, this nice judge, a guy from Great Neck? We like this guy. Why is he coming after him? Why are people calling him a clown? Why is this a social media thing of us versus them? Because it's politics. Trump is a master spinner, and he's going to raise lots of money and be able to paint himself as a victim. I find that very unfortunate. I want to live in a world of hope where we believe things are going to be better. But Trump's politics, this is my problem with Trump, are I am a victim, the world is crashing down, I'm the only one to save you. Hopefully we can turn the page and realize that we should think tomorrow's a better day. Tomorrow's going to be better. The world is not to get us, and I would hope that's the message we hear more of, Mike.
All right, Andrew Lieb, thank you so much for coming on once again, breaking it all down there. And just a reminder for everyone, it's only day 2 here. I mean, who knows what's going to happen? I mean, this is only the New York civil fraud trial. There's going to be a lot more trials. There's going to be a lot more. Andrew Lieb here on Live Now from Fox as well. We appreciate it.
Thanks so much for having me. There's 30 more days on this trial, so let's stay watching it.
Yep, stay focused, stay watching. We appreciate it as always. We know you will be, and our team as well.